The next station is Queensbury. Doors will open on the left-hand side.
What is up? Welcome to a most amazing episode of Metro Anarchy. My name is Fleek. I am the host and Big Kahuna Metro Builder here on Metro Anarchy, a channel dedicated to all things public transport in the game known as Cities Skylines. We are in a brand new city, New Halifax Bay, and I first wanted to give a huge shout out to the city's creator, the man with the golden pun. This city is really gorgeous, and it has a ton of public transport already built into it, including a very healthy metro. But I wanted to see first if we could substantially increase the metro usage, and second, what that might do to the other forms of public transport. Before we get to our metro rebuild, if you enjoy this video, please, I beg of you, give it a quick thumbs up. Every thumbs up brings us closer to world peace. And don't forget to join 46 of the coolest people on Earth by subscribing to the channel. And smack that bell to get alerted of new episodes. So let's get after tearing down and rebuilding this metro. Before we get started, I want to give another shout out to this city's creator, the man with the golden pun. I took a look to see if he had a YouTube channel or was an asset creator or something. I couldn't find anything, so there's nothing else that I can promote that he does apparently. So just want to give a huge shout out because this is an awesome city, and since I'm using it in my video, I always try to promote the creator if they have something to promote, but in this case not. I also always forget to take a look at the traffic, so let's go ahead and do that right away. 77% traffic, that is great. Really no big buildups to worry about. Not that we really work on the traffic side of things, as we found out. The public transport really doesn't have all that much of an impact. Another thing that the city is great about is that the freeways all have ways for people to walk underneath them. So we don't really have to worry about, sometimes when we're doing a grid, I'm going to do a grid-based metro for this city, you have to make sure that you get stations, on the correct side of a freeway if pedestrians can't cross underneath the freeways, which happens in some cities. But in this case, we are good to go there. So let's go ahead and take a look at the public transport numbers. As I mentioned, a great public transportation system. We've got bus, we've got trams, we've got the metro, which is huge, of course, and also a little bit of train, and then a decent monorail system, and then actually also a cable car. One of the really interesting things as I was taking a look at these numbers is that all of the other types of public transportation are almost exactly equal to the metro. So it's going to be interesting to see when we build this more in-depth metro how that impacts all of these other types of public transport. Because in the past, I'd ripped everything out. So I'm going to leave everything in except the metro, take that out, and then rebuild that and see what impact we have. All right, well, let's take a look at the metro lines themselves. We've got 4 main metro lines and then 1 little additional line. So let's take a look at the additional line. It's only got 8 stops or 4 stations, and it is actually down here in the bottom left. It runs up here and then into this hub, and then the red line comes out of that hub as well. So it's almost a continuation, runs around here, and then kind of circles back around and then terminates right here. Then the other 3 lines all go left to right across the city. We have got this orange line, starts here, comes down around here, and then heads up and goes north up to here and terminates up here. Then we have got this blue line, which starts out here. Actually, I think is that the tram line, or is that that's a tram line. This is the blue metro line, the light blue metro line. Starts here, runs through, joins up with, they use the same tunnels for a little bit. And then the blue line comes around, pretty much just goes directly east to west through the city, and then comes down over here on the far western side of the city. And then lastly, we've got the green line, which starts out here, all the way out here, far to the west, and then comes up through the center of the city again. And then this loops out up here. Interestingly, it looks like they either misbuilt or this metro line didn't get completed correctly, or at some point it got broken, because it doesn't go all the way around there. But we also have 3 fixed stations that we need to worry about. So we've got the station built into the airport here, and then we've got this hub over here. This is a metro monorail train hub. So we're going to have to take a look at that. And then we also have another metro monorail and train hub right here that we'll have to work into our plans. Shouldn't be a problem. I think this can go onto the same line. These 2 can go onto the same line. And then the stop that we build, we're going to have to figure out a way to connect this up. We may have to put in an additional stop here to connect up, because this is not a dual station. So we may have to bring a line across here and terminate. We'll have to take a look and see how that goes. So lastly, I just wanted to take a look at the cable car, because I've never done a city with a cable car. And I think the cable car is right down in here somewhere. Where is that little fellow? Actually, why don't I just... Oh, it doesn't let me zoom in on it. Oh, there it is. It's interesting. I didn't know it doesn't let you zoom in on the cable car. So our cable car system starts out here, comes across, and then terminates over here by the monorail. At some point, I'll do some more shots of the monorail system. The monorail system is really, really cool. So, all right, I'm gonna now drop into a time lapse. I'll off camera go ahead and take out the existing metro, and then I will build the new metro in a time lapse, and we'll come out on the other side and take a look at what we have built. I just want to pop back in quickly and mention that because in previous cities I've pulled all of the public transport out, I decided to go ahead and let the simulation run after I removed the metro. Because we've got the other public transport, I wanted to see how much of the metro ridership got absorbed by the rest of the public transport system. Really, really interestingly, traffic went down more than any other sim I've done in any other city. It went down by about 14%, almost 15%. Normally, it's always been about single digits. And the reason for that is that the public transport system didn't absorb hardly any of the metro riders. We had about 17,500 total riders, and it's gone down by almost the entire amount of the metro riders. The bus has gone up by about 18%. The tram went up by about 13%. Train went up the most in a percentage terms, about 76%, but it was only about 1,100 and, about 500 more people. It was pretty low to begin with. It was only 600 to begin with. And the monorail went up by about 25% again, but all of these numbers are pretty low relatively. The total ridership's gone down by about 6,700. So really, really interesting. Let's go ahead and build this metro and see. What I'll be really interested to see is if we can get that metro ridership above the 8,800, 8,900 where it was. If we can get that to say 9 or 10,000, how will that impact the rest of the public transport? So let's go ahead and get this built. I'm excited to see what happens on the other side. So here is our final product. I think you can tell that I got a little bit overwhelmed with how big this city was. I didn't really realize, I mean, I knew this is one of the bigger cities that I've worked on, but didn't really realize how dense the grid was going to be. You can see it got a little bit wider out here as I made my way through. I had done a pretty good job of going through the city and making sure that I could get the metro tunnels underneath or over the top of all of the tunnels. This is one of the first cities that I've worked on that had a large number of tunnels. So you can see here, I was able to get the metro under this tunnel, and then I was able to weave it around. Where else did I have to weave around? Oh, up here we had to weave around this tunnel here. You can see that kind of moved around a little bit, but I ran into two areas where I just could not get the metro lines through, and I really need to do a better job of just grabbing a metro track beforehand and testing all the different areas of the map where I'm going to put metro lines. Over here, this change in elevation, if I come down here, you can see this big basin just would not let me go through it, so I had to go around and connect up to this station. That wasn't too bad, but then where is the other one? Oh, it's over here, and this one is even more of an elevation issue. You'll see it when I zoom in here. It is just crazy because of this dam. I think whoever built this city had to do some terraforming to get that dam to work, and you just could not get this line to go through. And so I made this little loop here, not at all realistic, but I did do a test, and the trains don't look ridiculous going through it. I was able to weave my way through, but up here I was just not able to get it through. There was no way. I tried snaking it around here and just did not happen. So I ended up having to break this metro line up into two sections. So we ended up with 7 lines going east and west. As I've been looking at the map, I gave those numbers 1 through 7, and then also I believe 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, 7 north, south, and I gave those letters so that when I sorted, they would be grouped together. So we've got 14 total lines, and let's go ahead and let this run for a bit and come back and take a look at what our numbers look like on our new gigantic grid metro. So you may have noticed in the middle of the video that our population peaked at about 227,000, and it's dropped back down to 220,000, which is almost exactly where we started out. We're like 200 people off from where we started. So our metro numbers are going to be a good comparison. But while I was looking at things, I noticed in the city statistics that we've got these weird fluctuations, and I'm not sure what is causing this. If you've ever seen anything like this, leave a comment below and let me know what you think might be causing this. When you have these drops in population, typically, for those of you that have played this game a lot, you know that it is usually a death wave. But if we look at the death rate has plummeted. It's like a third of what it had been previously. It's at 494, and it had been as high as almost over 1100. So it's not a death wave. And so I turned off the no notifications mod because I thought maybe first I thought it was a death wave, and then when it wasn't, I went to look at the city statistics, and that's when I noticed those weird fluctuations. The birth rate also is fine, and so there's really nothing that should be causing this big drop. I even built a bunch of extra areas when I was running the simulation. I ran the simulation for about another year. I built a whole area down here, and down here I was putting in high density residential to see if I could stem the tide, and for whatever reason it just I couldn't do it. And so I think the city is still fine to use going forward, but I wanted to use that as a preface to looking at the numbers, because I think it may have a little bit to do with how things turned out. Traffic, we successfully made the traffic worse from 77% down to 68%. So awesome there. And while doing that, we did get up above. I was kind of shooting for 10,000, and we did just snuck above 10,000, 10,087 total riders on the metro. But we did it at the expense of absolutely every other form of public transportation. So the bus is down 8%, the tram is down 28%, train is down 60%, air is down, monorail is down, taxi's down, even the cable car is down 78%. We lost just boatloads, almost 90 riders on the cable car. I have no idea how we wrecked the cable car, but I guess I count it as a mild win with the metro getting above 10,000, and I really love this city. It's a very beautiful city, so I think we will come back and try and build some other styles of metro, and I think that I will just not run it in the middle of the episode like I did this time. I think all of that time, whatever that did, just running it in the middle of the episode without any... not building anything, not doing anything, must have done something to it. But like I mentioned, if you have any ideas, leave a comment below and let me know what you think. It might be, but let's go ahead and wrap up for this episode. Time to wrap up for this week. If you have a city you would like to see in upcoming episodes, there are directions for how to upload it to the Steam Workshop in the description below. Then send me a link to the save game by email or on Twitter, and be sure to let me know if there's anything in particular you want me to work on. And do not forget, every like brings us closer to world peace, and every subscriber brings the channel closer to 50 subs. We've added 2 whole subscribers since I started the episode, so we need just 2 more to get there. Be sure to subscribe and pound on that bell for notifications, and I will name a metro line after the 50th subscriber in the next episode if we get there. Not quite sure what I'm going to title this video. Maybe something like Massive but Marginally Effective Grid Metro. When I started this series, I thought I'd have way more figured out by now. So next episode, we're going to stay right here and try another style of metro in New Halifax Bay. Be sure to check back to see what we do. And until next time.
Merci d'avoir voyagé avec la STM.